Taylor Swift, The End of an Era documentary has completely come out, and I finally finished watching it. So, we're going to be talking about that today. It is essentially, for those of you who've been living under a rock, you may have missed the Eras tour. Taylor Swift was massive over the last few years. She went on this huge tour, like hundreds of shows over a couple of years, and this documentary is a bit of a behind the scenes look at what she got up to, how it all came together, a few of the bits and pieces behind the scenes, and yeah, it's only a few episodes. I think it's like 6 episodes, and I thought it was well worth a watch. So, a little bit of backstory about my sort of Taylor Swift, my Swiftiness. I wasn't a huge Taylor Swift fan up until, in this house, okay, we are Swifties. But up until, I guess, a few years ago, probably around when the Eras tour actually started, I didn't particularly, I knew obviously that she was there. It wasn't the sort of thing that would come up on my playlist. She's not the sort of person that I don't particularly follow celebrities online or anything like that, so I don't know about what or a lot of people are saying. It doesn't come up in my circles and things like that. So I wasn't not a huge fan, but also I was pretty neutral on the whole thing. And it sort of changed for me. So my wife, she is a big Swiftie. She's like collecting all the CDs. She's got some vinyls. She's got like merch and all that kind of good stuff. And it kind of all changed when we went to London. So this is actually one of these shows that's covered in the documentary is Wembley. And we were in London, heading up on the train to London at the time of this show. So we left, we went on the train, and literally from the second we got to the train station, we started to see other Swiftie people, right? And they had the costumes, they had bracelets. Some of them literally had like little sandwich bags filled with bracelets that they were going to hand out. And they were just chatting. The whole train was filled with just like people having a great time. They were super excited, of course, swapping over stories and bracelets and like complimenting each other. The vibe was just like nothing I had experienced before on a train. By the time we got to London, it was carnage, but there was just so many people, and it was so filled just with happiness and excitement and just a really good vibe. And that really comes across in the documentary as well. So if you've seen, they've got 2 versions of the Eras tour on Disney Plus now. So there's one from sort of towards the beginning. It's quite a polished version of it. You can sit and you can watch all the songs. There's like lots of different camera angles and that kind of thing. And now they've released a second version, which has got some of the new songs because she released a new album while on tour, and they cut some of those in. This second version is not as polished, and it kind of goes along with the documentary. So I would check that out if it's like 3 hours or something, but maybe check that out. I've seen it a few times now. It's really, really well made, but you can definitely see the connection with the fans. And for me, we walked around the V&A Museum and looked at some of the outfits and stuff that she wears, and there's just crowds and crowds of people just so excited to see just a piece. And it's a phenomenon, right? It's just, absolutely wild. But the documentary, so that's when it all sort of changed for me. I was like, okay, I'm interested. I want to watch this thing. I listen to her music. Like I said, I don't really have a choice in this house, but I'm happy to listen. She's got some absolute bangers out there, so I'm more than happy to get involved in the Swiftiness. I'm just sad that I missed out on 15 odd years or whatever it was before now, where it just wasn't in my sphere. But hey, we're in it now. The documentary, like I said, starts, so you've got Wembley. It was just sort of coming to the end of the European leg, I think it was. And then it also covers a bit of sort of her family history, a bit of when she was growing up, things like that. And you've then got like some coverage of the last show, so you get to see behind the scenes when they're like preparing for the last show ever and what a big deal it is to them and stuff. And okay, the whole thing is a bit like Taylor Swift propaganda. Let's not kid ourselves. I think if you aren't a fan of Taylor Swift, or you're just neutral, this isn't going to be something that maybe draws you in and you're like, right, now I'm a fan kind of thing, because you have to have that emotional connection and stuff that I experienced with all the people around me, like that were all excited and stuff, and I was like, oh, I can get into this. But I think if you're just watching it, you'll be like, well, why do I care? But it is really interesting if you like to see kind of how these big events all come together, the collaboration. So there's a few other artists and stuff involved, and you get to see how they collaborate and mix their songs together and things like that. That's really interesting and cool. But the main thing that comes across is that connection with the fans, and just how well she seems to treat all of her members of staff, like the people that are just driving her around, or like the dancers, the backing singers, like her family. They all have great relationships, and it all comes across. It all appears to be pretty genuine. Obviously, that could just be good editing. It could be all that, but it genuinely comes across. I mean, I was in tears watching this. I'm literally crying. It's so emotional just to see, like, how much it all meant to everybody. The kind of the love and the friendships and everything like that. It's just wild. That's all I can describe. It's wild chaos at its best, and I really think that yes, maybe there's going to be people out there like, I hate X person, nothing will change my mind. This is not going to change your mind. If you're on the fence and you're like, I'd be interested to see how it all came together because it made more money than anything else, like music wise, seems to have ever done, you might like find some interest. But if you are in any way kind of like a Swiftie type, one of the fans or something like that, and you haven't seen it yet, you have to. But make sure you get a box of tissues, because you'll be like in an absolute wreck. You know, just seeing like every little detail from like them picking. So there's a part during the show where they pick like a kid who just gets given a hat just halfway through the show, and she embraces this kid and is like, hey, yeah, you're involved in the show now. She doesn't like know this kid. It's just a random child or whatever. It just bringing that sort of together. It's very well made as a documentary. Like, I've seen many documentaries, but this one in particular, it's very clean. It's very well put together. I mean, like I say, it could be good editing, but my goodness, it's good editing. It's really well made. To be honest, I've seen it. I'll probably end up watching it again. That's how good I thought it was. But let me know if you've seen it. I'd be really interested to have a discussion with you in the comments down below. Are you a Swiftie? Do you just despise her, but you watched it and you actually thought it was okay? Are you neutral on the whole thing? Let me know. But that is another thing that we can tick off of the watch list, which I am slowly making my way through. I'm actually doing a pretty good job, and I've got myself the Letterboxd app, so that I can trace all the things I watched this year. So even though I'm not going to be making a video about everything, because I imagine I just don't have the time to, at the rate I'm watching things, I have not been able to make enough videos in time. But I think as we go through, we'll get into a bit of a flow. And I'm really excited. So we've launched the channel now. First video came out. I think it was all right, about Wicked. Second video we did about the films and stuff. Typically, I finished recording that, and then of course Godzilla minus Zero was announced that it's coming out this year as well, which is another awesome one. But yeah, so I'm happy with how things are going on the channel, and I really appreciate you checking it out. Taylor Swift, what more can you say? I mean, it's a great documentary. I'm so glad I watched it. You should too. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Take care.